Good morning. On Wednesday, I talked to you about John chapter 4 and reminded you that the Father is looking for people who will worship Him in spirit and in truth. I ended that little talk by asking, will you be one? I'd like to come back to that subject for just a moment this morning and remind you of why it's so very important to worship. Worship, of course, is the celebration of God's goodness, the recognition of God's greatness, and submission or surrender to His authority. If we don't worship well, we will not intercede well. In other words, we'll not pray well unless we think about God properly and address Him in ways that are true to who He is. This is very important right now because we need to be praying for one another. Intercession is my prayer for you and your prayer for me. Why is it so important to have accurate worship, to have good intercession? Because if we don't think properly about God, we won't think properly about other people. Oswald Chambers, years ago, gave a little talk on this particular subject. His wife wrote it down. It became one of the great devotional books of all time. It's called My Utmost for His Highest. I've probably gone through this thing 10 times at least. Very, very good. He addressed this particular subject in this way. Worship and intercession must go together. The one is impossible without the other. Intercession means that we rouse ourselves up to get the mind of Christ about the one for whom we pray. When we lose sight of God, we become hard and dogmatic. We hurl our own petitions at God's throne and dictate to Him what we wish Him to do. We do not worship God, nor do we seek to form the mind of Christ. If we are hard towards God, we will become hard toward other people. You know, during this time of quarantine and isolation, you're spending a lot of time with people. And if you're not careful, you may start to become critical. You may start to have contempt for other people. What's the best way to get past that? It's to think accurately about God. So if you will intercede well, and we need intercession, you must also worship God well. Worship Him in spirit and in truth. Think on these things. I'll see you tomorrow.